James, I think the question that's going to be on everybody's mind when they watch Psych 3 next week is how quickly in the production process did you figure that you looked like Rob Zombie?
That happened probably 2 years ago. A good friend who's a casting director, who was like the first general meeting I ever took in Los Angeles when I moved out in like 1999, sent me a text with side by sides because she had worked on like 3 or 4 Rob Zombie films, and it was me and him, and I guess she found it on the internet, and it was just like, did you have any idea? And at first, I didn't even know what that meant. And then when I looked closer at the 2 pictures, I realized, oh, did I have any idea means did you have any idea you look like Rob Zombie? And I texted her back and was like, no, I did not. But this is kind of like mind altering. Like I'm a grown ass man in middle age, and I've been minding my own business, I've been doing my own thing, and to find out like that all this time, you know, I'm the spitting image of Rob Zombie underneath all the white zombie makeup was pretty weird, man, but dope, because it immediately became a mine for comedy, and Psych is of course the show that can exploit that. So when we were coming up with the disguise, bit, it was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, dude, this is the perfect place to use this. Unbeknownst to me, I look like Rob. What do you think? Oh my God. Well, obviously that's going to be your disguise. So it was 2 years in the making, and shout out to my pal Monica Mickelson for bringing it to my attention.
Right on. Yeah. Shout out to Monica. The other big thing that I've been wondering, everybody has kind of described this. I've talked to a lot of the cast. I've talked to Steve. I've talked to Chris. They've always described Jasmine as the missing piece that you guys didn't know was missing at the time. So in writing this, writing and producing this third film, how is it writing to her strengths as Selene and giving her more to do and kind of figuring out how she fits within the wider Psych family?
It's so fun to stumble upon something like that's like so late in a franchise. It's like the Willy Wonka invents a new piece of candy, and you think you had all the candy that's out there. And after 16, 17 years, it's like, oh, here is this puzzle piece that we never got to write for all these years. And now we get to make up for lost time. And it's a delicate balance, right? Because it's like, we're only just getting to know her, and like the sky's the limit. We can do anything we want with this character, but we also want to protect the character, make sure that she feels like she exists in the Psych universe. She's obviously not going anywhere now, so it's like it's all the things that you used to think about when you were creating a series, right? With all of the other regulars on Psych, and making sure that there's evolution and growth, and peeling back the onion and earning all of the character beats that we did along the way. We get to do it all over again with this new character, who of course we adore and is part of our own personal family off the screen, off camera. So it's been such a gift, and I think it's really kind of been like a fun sort of turbo booster for us in these movies of like, wow, sure, all the craziness, all the fun, putting on the old sweater that feels so comfy and warm, but also like a little bit of like a fresh new responsibility to build this character from scratch. It's really dope.
Yeah. And of course, in a way, like Gus was always building to this, right? He's got the day job. Like, he somehow managed to have a pharmaceutical job across 8 seasons of television amidst all of this. And it really puts like Gus and Shawn's like dynamic in perspective, because Shawn's kind of like a portrait of like Arrested Development, and you've got Gus that's kind of dragging him into maturity. How is it kind of, when you were sitting down to write this, what were those beats like for your character and his dynamic with Gus that you wanted to figure out?
Just how sort of they'd both kind of been of avoidance, like emotionally, spiritually, for so long. Like, adulthood and responsibility has sort of been looming over the two of them, because they figured out a way to make it work, right? They were the ultimate odd couple, but their love for each other sort of would beat everything and always win out. Well, what happens when it actually something changes in a fundamental way? And even finding meaningful relationships didn't really change the dynamic much. But there's no way around adding a child to the mix. It's gonna change things. So I think approaching it as like, look, we've been talking about adjoining houses and a shared water slide for 15 years. And the truth of the matter is that's not actually what it's going to look like. We don't know what it's going to look like. And that's a little scary to us because this is what we've known for so long. But we're going to get through it because, we're best friends, and that's never going to change. But I think introducing the idea of an unknown in a real way and seeing what the effect that actually has on them was sort of new ground for us. We've teased it, certainly, in the past when like big things came up, but then we would always sort of settle right back into our happy place. And, this time, something's got to give. And it was just about like, they have to own up to it. They got to look at each other and say, this is a game changer.
Yeah. What is your personal favorite joke in the entire movie?
Oh my goodness. Oh man. It was on the day that we did the little meta riff about the Peacock. That was not scripted, and it ended up being sort of the button of the trailer. But I don't know if it's my favorite joke, but it's certainly kind of encompasses what I love so much about this show. Is that we can do a joke like that and it fits into the universe, and it fits into what we do, and we can take 30 seconds to do a bit about a meta bit about the streaming platform that the movie is going to be on. I love that about this show. I love that we can do stuff like that, and it's not like jumping the shark. It just fits into the fiber and the fabric of what we do. So I'll just use that as like an example. But the incorporation of the ventriloquist dummy. I mean, I love that bit. I think we got so much value out of that little plastic doll. You sometimes you dream stuff up in the writing stage, and you think it's going to be funny. It's not like, oh, this could go either way. Like, it'll be funny, but whenever your expectations are exceeded, it's always pretty fun. And the first time the dummy appeared on camera, we could not stop giggling. So we knew that it was going to be a good ride. We've also been trying to figure out a way to make that music video for a while too. We talked about doing it as promotional material for one of the previous movies. And so to finally get to do it after a couple of years of brainstorming and how does this fit in was a lot of fun also.
I always fondly remember the Private Eyes promo you guys did on USA.
Yeah. That became our little niche for a while, like sending up music videos. So it felt like something we had in our canon. We just couldn't figure out how to work it into one of the movies, in a semi-organic way. But this time, you set it up, you get to pay it off. Thank you, Kurt Smith.
I think I got time for one more, not to put the horse before the carriage, but Steve was saying that he's got at least 3 more movies in his head planned out. Where do you want to see this story and these characters go next?
I have no doubt that he could do 10 more of these. He is an eternal fountain of all things psych and positivity. And I think for me, it's just, keep coming back together and finding, ways to tell compelling stories and keep moving the characters along so that every time you take a break from psych, there's something to look forward to coming back to. I think the gift of these movies has been that we always have time to go off and do other stuff and sort of keep our tanks full and our batteries recharged so that when we do come back together, it's always such a joyful experience and we're always so stoked to do it. I think if we can hold on to that energy we'll always be able to deliver something for the fans. It's not like when we were on the show and it was just like, what world haven't we gone into yet? For me, anyway, anymore. For me, it's just like maintaining the level of the product for the fans' sake and maintaining our love of being there together, which is the easy part. So that was my long, convoluted way of saying I don't really care what we do as long as we keep having a blast doing it.